Ours is the ultimate life form, and we're going to go over how overpowered and utterly broken he is in terms of his abilities, stats, everything that he's capable of. He only had a running time of, well, one episode in the anime and only a few, uh, I don't even think it was even a chapter in the manga, but we did get to see how big and how utterly powerful Cars is. So, right now, I'll go over Cars and his potential, along with everything he has done throughout the series. Starting with his speed scaling, he him and other pillarmen scaled directly to Joseph Joestar, who dodged a point-blank laser from the Redstone of Asia. Cars, while in his ultimate form, blitzed Joseph and cut off his arm. Yep, you heard me right. He blitzed Joseph and cut off his arm. And right here you get a description of a regular Pillarman's strength with him with them encasing the entire room in in 5 centimeters of steel. So they are roughly able to easily punch through steel walls. Uh but they have more than just that, with Cars being able to use his senses to track heat signatures in a building, the sounds they make, and tell how many Nazi soldiers he is going to kill. And with that, there also comes his age. He's over 100,000 years old and has regeneration comparable and even superior to that of vampires, with them being able to regenerate faster than the fire can burn them. And other pillarmen that Cars scales to are able to bend and twist their body like so. Why does this apply to Cars? Well, it's a thing all pillarmen can do, like their senses, like their age, and like their regeneration and physical strength. But as for more things special to Cars, comes his pop out blades. They can come out from all parts of his body, but he likes them coming out of his wrist. With them being 6 inches long, they have bristles on the edges that can move and cut at the speed of light, with them being almost blinding to look at. Unless you have a mechanical eye, like Stronheim here. These are all of Kars's abilities after he attained the Redstone of Asia and put on the stone mask while looking into the sun. He now can walk in the sunlight and transform himself or any body part into any part of any creature on the face of the earth at 1939 and before. So anything living, dead, extinct, or, well, otherwise, he can now transform himself into. He has an enhanced intellect now, and he can also use Haman. But let's go over his abilities. He can transform and shape his body, creating a squirrel that can, well, turn someone's face into a tract of land, and transform his body into flowers and herbs and other such things from nature. Meaning, his powers aren't just limited to animals, it's also a part of things from plants and other stuff alike. leaving the idea open for more than just wildlife to be at his beck and call. And as you see, the squirrel is under his control, so things that he creates with his body, he could possibly also create, control, and manipulate even from afar. And as you can see, he can also use projectiles, shooting armadillo shells from his back like they're artillery cannons. And cars can make things from his uh, powers of wildlife and plants when he created this lava proof vacuum sealed armor that reacted to the lava around it, constantly creating more and more air pockets to constantly protect himself from the heat. And yes, he did do this while being burned alive. He uh, Other things from nature that he could use would be electric eels and, well, their shock power, sharks and how they can regrow their teeth, porcupines' needles, and how they can also sometimes shoot them out, although not very far. A snake's poisonous bite that can also spray them out of their mouths. Spiders' webs that can have tensile strength capable of matching steel. Camouflage, and so many more things. And by so many more, it would also include plant life and the numerous toxins and ways that anything could be shaped in plant life, whether it be creating a bunch of poisonous leaves that secrete a dangerous dendrotoxin, or powerful spores that come out from this creature, like how he did with a squirrel by giving it mandibles. He could give an elephant a giant toxic uh, chemical to it that would make it far harder to kill, or if it is killed, it will release a bunch of deadly spores onto everyone that, once breathed in, will attach themselves into their body and act like parasites eating on them and whatnot. There is seemingly no limit to Kars's abilities and shapeshifting potential, but now let's move on to his other abilities, one that is a little bit more spiritual with Haman. Going off of Kars's Haman, his is far stronger than anyone else's we've seen in the series. Use it from the beginning, with Kars's Haman being as hot as lava once it touches Joseph's body, with it melting straight through the skin once upon contact. And as seen from Kars's other intellect feats in the series, and him making that lava-proof armor while being burned, we can assume, at the very least, that he can apply Haman the same as everyone else, and use its abilities, well, just like everyone else, and how they learned about it like everyone else. Like how Joseph was able to walk on water. Jonathan was able to walk on water using Haman. Joseph using Haman to grip onto oil. Joseph being able to walk on steel spikes. Joseph being able to hold on to ice so he doesn't stop himself from falling. But his Haman was so strong that it eventually was reversed around and increased by the Redstone of Asia, which started up a super volcano that launched him into space. But there now that we have gone through Cars' abilities, let's get into his potential in a cross-verse matchup. In the panel that explains Cars' abilities, we see that it says he can sense changes in the temperature and air. And with that also comes this neat thing, cross-verse wise, on how uh, characters that are invisible or are purely spiritual beings, like hollows from Bleach, that can only be sensed or seen by other people with spiritual senses, um, were able to be harmed by those, well, not harmed, but still be able to be interacted by people from the spiritual world, like Chad, who boxed around with Shrieker, and Ichigo, who without his Shinigami powers, or well, any ability to interact with Shinigami or Hollows on an offensive way, was still able to touch Rukia and uh, her powers. So essentially, Cars could still mess around with Hollows and Shinigami from Bleach, as he'd be able to sense them, and his abilities would work on Limbo clones from Naruto, as he'd be able to sense them moving in for the attack, as they themselves can interact and punch Naruto's shadow clones. And talking more inverse, he would be able to work his abilities on Jotaro on stands in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, as they can physically interact with the world around them, like with how Star Platinum stopped a bullet hitting Jotaro's face. And on the issue of durability negation, Cars, although not physically as strong as most other characters, using the vast array of abilities Cars has at his disposal, you could argue a way for how Cars could take the win, uh, based on if you think he doesn't get vaporized immediately. Wanted to say thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell notification to know when new videos come out. And I will see you next time. Bye.